What's up, y'all? It's Jason Nelson at home, cleaning up and sweeping, mopping and stuff like that, washing my dishes, wiping things down. Um, swept my floor, got a hardwood floor, carpet and things like that. And right now, I don't think this is sage stick. I'm not sure if it's sage or Palo Santos. I know I've had it for a few years. I just love the smell of it. And the scent does make you feel as if it just adds a calming factor. I'm just thankful right now because earlier, like the last few weeks, it's really been rough for me. And a lot of it is because of my responses to things and the way that I've handled um, anxiety, paranoia, dealing with things from my past. And I'm currently still like participate in therapy. I'm still currently attending church on a weekly basis. I'm currently still participating in the prayer services Monday mornings. I'm still currently participating in the weekly book groups. No matter what happens, whether I have a moment where I'm misusing alcohol, or I'm having a moment where I'm thinking about something. And one of the things I've been working on, especially when it came to my relationships and my interaction with women, is, and I'm going to be very honest about this, is that I've gone off on them, like when I've been intoxicated, like, and it was wrong, it was irresponsible, it was disrespectful, it was displaced. It is displaced, and the reason why I'm saying that is because, especially as my mother and I were talking today, I've had built up anger and resentment towards women, starting with my childhood, with my, interaction with my mom. But we had just one of the best talks we ever had in my life today, where she started opening up a little bit more to me about her experiences, which I felt compassion, like especially about her particular childhood and how she thought so highly of her father, which makes sense why my mother champions on my behalf as a father in regards to my relationship with my children. But it was so refreshing just to hear that part of her that I just never knew. And then as she was opening up to me about how her and I have had similar experiences at these particular ages, and just getting the wisdom from her. And we still got a lot of work to do, and I thank God for the opportunity. At same token, my stepmother, who was very abusive, mentally, emotionally, physically, and some other aspects, if you can imagine. Um, but learning that, where a lot of my issues with trust came from with people, and then with women. And I wasn't really known for being like mean or bad towards women in the sense of like, oh man. But like when I was upset and I was angry and I felt hurt or betrayed, at least verbally, I could say some of the meanest shit a motherfucker could say. But that's also how I was spoken to. And for the record, I am not bragging. I am not proud of it. I'm actively, continuously to work on it. I mean, it's not just women. I mean, I have talked a certain way to people in general, like regardless of race, gender, but I wasn't always like that. I used to be kind of quiet into myself. And then in recent years, as things began to bubble up and bubble over, I started having these outbursts. And like I said, I'm pretty sure there's no question that alcohol hasn't made it any better. But this week I just felt this conviction because I have a good friend of mine, and actually a couple of people, but particularly is one particular person where I was just tripping and verbally, and I was wrong. And I just felt this conviction that I've normally not to this depth have I felt. And as I felt it, I'm like, okay, Jason, this is something we need to address. This is something we need to work on. Which ironically, in my last therapy session, my therapist had challenged me to figure out what's the issue between my mother and I. And obviously, I've had children, about 3 different women. This goes back to teenage years to my 20s. You know, I'm not out there like that. But I've had children as a teenager, well, one child, and then I had children by women I was married to. And those failed relationships. Now, my daughter mother wasn't a failed relationship. We were just young and thinking we were grown. And you can kind of say that at every particular stage of life, you know. But that one was literally like, I just love the smell. I just hate it burn out so fast. I need to get some more incense for this. But I've had this for a long time, as you can see. I'm like, I haven't burnt it in a while. But either way, I felt remorse because I'm out here lashing out on women. And you don't understand how scary this is for me to say this, because people could take portions of what you're saying and portions of where you at, and they'll try to find the whole entirety of who you are. But what it was like, especially after my divorce and things of that nature and the process of it, and then I come across somebody who just say something similar to what I've heard before, I experienced, and then I just get that mad and agitated, and I start going off on them as if I'm going off on a person I was actually upset with. And that's wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong. It was wrong. So, no justifiable, and I gotta accept what comes along with that. Just like I realized growing up, I grew up around a lot of violence, abuse, a lot of rejection from people of that look like me. You know, I was the socially awkward, weird motherfucker, the person that, you know, within my community, I didn't talk a particular way. Some things I wasn't quite into. I mean, I wasn't no saint, but, you know, it was like those things festered inside of me that just made me upset. And really, I was angry at the people I really wanted to receive love from. And what happens is I have been receiving the love, but I didn't know how to be receptive to it because I'm so used to not feeling it. Or what they could say, you're bleeding on people who had nothing to do with your situation. I'm one of the very few people who's given the opportunity to process through all their trauma. Like earlier in the video, I was talking about how I realized almost 4 decades worth of issues, challenges, trauma, abuse, broken relationships, hearts, and stuff. And I'm responsible for a huge part of the stuff within my adulthood. And I just started going to therapy this year and support groups and stuff. Like, Jason, be patient with your process. Now, along the way, I'm learning I got to make modifications about who I am. I mean, where I'm going, the people I'm around. And the reason why I decided to make this video was because I felt remorse. And earlier this week, I was like, Jason, and it's been building up for a couple of weeks, to be honest. And I've been in and out like these little manic moments, like, you know, going back into the thought process of I'm worthless, I'm of no good, I'm of no value, I'm never going to get better. How do I encourage myself to get up and go at it again when I've done it so many times, but I did it when I was younger? Like, how do I go up and get at it again and it almost coming into my 4th decade of life? And I'm like, maybe I should just wave the white flag. But what I did was, instead of suppressing it to myself and just turning to the bottle, I just admitted my thoughts and feelings out loud. And when I did that, I'm glad when they say closed mouths don't get fed. I asked for help. People offered help. And it may not came from who I wanted it to come from, but it came from who I needed it to come from. And then as I start taking these baby steps, because I was talking to an awesome young lady, again, who's in the healing, who was giving me some tools to use and some resources and to use, and there was no judgment. Like, it was no justification. Let's get that understood. It was no justification. It was some understanding, some empathy, and but no judgment. And she was keeping it so real. Like, I had to be receptive to what she was saying. Like, every negative thought, I'm coming up. She combating it with a word of healing, a word of restoration, a word of redemption, and as someone who's been through where she's been, who's been through where I've been through before. And I was like, whoa, okay. So I credit her, and we have different spiritual identifications. But I respect people's right to believe in what they believe in and practice they do. So, what ended up happening is, then I go to this work assignment. Y'all know I work temp jobs because I am an entrepreneur. I am an artist. I do have ambition. So it's very difficult for me to just commit to certain particular type of work as I build up the business and the vision that I have. So I go to this work assignment, and when I walk in, they just, hey, you okay? You know, and they're like, you usually so positive. You usually this and that, and they're giving me compliments. They're giving me words of reassurance, and they're like, we love the way you work and how you stay active and do this and that and the third. And, you know, I appreciate it because it started chipping away at that sadness that I had, that shame I had. And so I took it as like God is showing me, like, Jason, I still love you. He's showing me through other people. And then I get a call from a mentor who's like, hey, Jason, let's go hang out and let's go talk. And we talk, and this person has had a huge influence on my life. And we get to talk, and we got some things we agree on, some things we don't, for his philosophies and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, I love this guy, and this man had a huge impact on my life. And we're proud of each other. And it's like, I needed to hear that. And then he presented me with an opportunity. That's a blessing. You know. And I was apprehensive about it because I just was. But I was like, you know what, Jason? And we've been working this in therapy. Like, you got to learn how to trust people. Trust God and trust yourself. And I said, okay, I'm going to trust God first and foremost. I'm going to trust this guy who has my best interest at heart, just like a few other people. And I know everybody got their limits, but has my best interest at heart, and I'm going to go for it. Then, following that, what happened is I go to church, and the church I attend, at this point, I expect to hear a message almost every time I'm there. Like, I expect it. It's like, I don't know if this pastor got a microphone in my crib. I don't know what it is, but and I ain't the only one. Because since I've been going, I've been seeing the numbers grow. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, word is getting around. But they make an effort. They operate within the spirit. That doesn't necessarily mean I agree with everything that I hear at the time that I hear it. But they operate within the spirit. And I'm in there, people like, hey, Jason. People I don't even know. Hey, Jason. How you doing? You okay? And today, someone at church asked me, like, hey, man, I know you do comedy. But in December, why don't you come do like 10 minutes or something like this? I'm like, all right, because I was once again, I just said I'm shutting down my bookings as I continue to work on my mental and emotional well-being. And then I come across somebody who has his own business who said, "Hey, Jason, I want to sit down with you and talk to you about your business." And then even last night, the person who I lashed out at unfairly and while I was in a bad state of mind had reached out to me and they said, "Jason, I got paraphrased, like, you somebody I respect and look up to. I think you have a good heart." He was tripping. He was being a dick, which was true. Which was true, and it was bothering me that I said any of the things that I said. It really did. It really bothered me. But they were like, "Hey, let's talk about it on this particular day and time." And that was yesterday. So, like I said, today, and then this man came up to me and was like, "I want to sit down and talk to you about your business." And then we get to talking um, about some stuff. And then he go, "Man, you don't realize how much wisdom you have to experience all the things you have." And I don't know if you see that. And I was like, man, I actually kind of always did see myself in this light, but I used to be considered, I was considered like crazy or weird or whatever. And so I start conforming in exchange for some form of acceptance, whether I realized it or not, you know. And then it's like God has surrounded me and blessed me with some awesome opportunities and businesses. But I'm still operating now. I'm operating out of hurt, like not even hope, like which is a four-letter word that start with an H. So it's hoes. But I didn't have to say that. But I'm operating out of hurt, fear, and you know. But and then when I got home, my mom texted me today while I was at church, talking about she's proud of me. And she be watching my videos, and even some when I make reference towards her, which I'm a lot more respectful than I was in the past. Like, you know, it's just that I have to be able to operate within my truth, and I'm glad she's doing the same for herself too. And we have a good talk, as good as we gonna have with our personalities, you know, which it wasn't bad. It's not bad. It was just, you know, we're both talkative. Um, but we were saying that, having that talk, and then she was like, "I thought I was gonna go to church with you today," which we never discussed it, but I think that's pretty dope. Which is not about going to church for anybody, you know, but the fact that she just wanna, you know, be a part of, you know, and participate in who I am and what I do. And then I get a text from a business, like a credible business. That wants to do business with me and my company. And I thought, like, I fucked up this opportunity because I ain't heard from them in like so fucking long. Like, so fucking long. I'm like, dog, I thought we supposed to bid on this shit. But God timing and our timing is different. So I had to make this video because I'm sitting down, I'm cleaning my home. It ain't like it's a fancy place, but I appreciate it. I sleep on my couch, which is an upgrade from when I was just on the air mattress when I first moved back to St. Louis. I was sleeping on air mattress for like 3 straight years. It just so this is posted on my business page, and I took a break from my personal page because I was feeling overstimulated, like from seeing too much stuff, and then I'm too engaged with it. But I just felt compelled. So you look at, like, even since the other days, I was taking stuff, and I was like, Jason, you associated with being honest. I ain't gonna say I'm 100% like, what I'm saying? I ain't trying to pretend to be Jesus, But I make an effort to be transparent about who I am, where I'm at. And it get hard sometimes because I was like this way, way back in the day, and people used to just say things to me and about me. And now, like, you don't even realize how big of an influence I've been on people in this culture, within this state, this region. And, but it was a lot of hits for being ahead of my time. And then the other things I was experiencing, but they say you can't outgive God, so I've been giving God what I have. I mean, I can give God more. I'm just being honest. Like, I can give God more. I can give God a lot more. Uh, it's just that I just been giving him my realness, my truth, my heart as best I know how. I've been telling him the truth. Like, bro, I'm struggling with this. I'm scared of this. And it's like, God is just, but they say he pour out a blessing. And it's not like he ain't been, but like even that song Amazing Grace. I once was blind, but now I see, but you begin to see it in a different way. So I'm gonna continue to be patient with the process, and I'm committed to the process. No matter how many times I fall, how many times I make a mistake or a bad decision, those are two different things. I appreciate all glory to God, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all be blessed.